So to recap last week, I spoke to the men. Men, I asked you 2 questions. The first question is, can you name a moment of grace where you knew God's love for you? A moment of grace. Like Peter, when he saw Jesus resurrected on the beach, and he jumped out of the fishing boat. He'd been out fishing all night, caught nothing. Now Jesus came, caught all these fish, jumped out of the boat, and swam the shore, and Christ forgave him. And it was really the resurrection of Peter. And what a moment of grace. What a beautiful moment. And from that moment on, Peter changed from fishing for fish to fishing for men. So for men, I asked you that question. Can you name that a moment of grace in your own life? You knew God's unconditional love. Second question I asked you men was, do you have fishing buddies? Do you have buddies you can go fishing with, and guys you can just hang out with and talk with, and small matters, large matters, and just to be with, go bowling with, just fishing buddies to be with. You're always taking care of others. Who's taking care of you? Who has your back? Who has your back? So you need friends, men. You need friends. And then I mentioned that the retreat next month for men, Christ renews his parish. It's a wonderful way both to grow in your faith in the Lord and, those moments of grace, and friendship with other men, the fishing buddies. The retreat, Christ renews his parish next month. There's a separate weekend for women. But the retreat can really be called for men, Christ recharges his power tools. Okay. Get it? Get it? Say yes, Father. Okay. So we're caught up. We're caught up. And you can always see the homily online too. We're caught up. So this week, let me show you something. Every offertory, we bring forward the bread and wine, we bring forward a little basket with slips of paper in it. And we place the papers in here. And the papers says on spiritual works of mercy, Easter offering. Dear God, may these works of mercy that I have performed be a reflection of your divine mercy. And then it lists the 7 spiritual works of mercy: forgiving injuries, admonishing the sinner, bearing wrongs patiently, praying for living dead, and so on. And they're also in your bulletin. So these 7 works of mercy, when you come in, there's a piece of paper in the lobby in narthex that you can check that, as well as put down a prayer intention, and it'll be brought forward with our bread and wine and placed right here for the whole Mass. Spiritual works of mercy. Now, Pope Francis has told us this is a year of mercy, Jubilee year of mercy, and to be merciful, just as your Father is merciful. Be merciful as just your Father is merciful. And so I want to speak particularly to those of you who know God's mercy, that God has forgiven your sins. God has instructed you and counseled you and helped you in so many ways with his mercy. And today's particular spiritual work in mercy, comfort the afflicted. God has comforted you in your affliction. Because you can't be merciful until you experience God's mercy. You can't give what you haven't received. God's mercy is there for you, but it's a matter of receiving it. And then to be merciful as your Father is merciful. And the Lord is merciful. The Lord comforts the afflicted. We hear in the Psalm 23, even though I walk through the valley of darkness, no evil would I fear, for you are there with your rod and your staff. With these you give me comfort. You give me comfort. God doesn't take away evil. God doesn't take away darkness. It's still in our lives, but you're not alone. God in his mercy is with you, with his rod and his staff to give you comfort, protect you. We heard in Revelation, the second reading, God will wipe away every tear. And how did he wipe away a tear? Well, you bend down and you get by their cheek and you kind of caress them and wipe away the tear. He doesn't say, stop that crying or I'll give you something to cry about. No. God just wipes away every tear. In the book of Revelation. It's so gentle. And good shepherd. We heard in the gospel, Jesus is the good shepherd. He knows his sheep. The sheep follow him. And like a shepherd, he provides for his sheep, protects his sheep. And when one gets lost, he goes after him. Leaves the 99, finds that lost sheep, not to yell at him and say, you made me work and find you, you shouldn't run away. No, he came and picked him up with joy, rejoiced, and carried the sheep home, and then called everyone together, all his neighbors, and everyone said, hey, I'm a lousy shepherd. I lost my sheep. But good news, he's back. I found my sheep. Rejoice with me. Isn't this great? Just crazy about that one lost sheep. And the Lord comforts the afflicted. The Lord comforts the afflicted. He's merciful. And you know, when you receive that mercy from God, then you find joy in giving it and being merciful. Those who've been sick through an illness, you have something special. You're able to help others who are ill. I'm not saying, oh, use this doctor or that doctor. That's good. But more importantly, you know what it is to suffer. And from that, you're able to visit the sick and be with them like no one else. Just sometimes nothing to say, just be with them. Or those who have grieved at the loss of a loved one, burying the dead is a corporal work of mercy. And you know what it is to lose someone. You know what it is that nothing can replace that. And you feel that hurt every day. But out of that affliction, you're able to comfort others. Anyone in a 12-step program knows the 12th step, just as important as the first step. The 12th step is to take this message of recovery, take this message of hope to others suffering this affliction, this addiction. Whether it's drinking or drugs or eating or sex or porn or whatever the affliction is, that you have a story where God's mercy has changed you. And what a great message to share with others. And in sharing that, does you a world of good too. So there's joy in being merciful as God is merciful. Be merciful, just your Father is merciful. Comfort the afflicted. But the opposite is true too. We don't just comfort the afflicted, we afflict the comfortable. Pope Francis said that the opposite of mercy is not hatred. The opposite of mercy is not injustice. The opposite of mercy is indifference. That people just don't care about their neighbor. They just don't care. Indifference. But the church is called to be better, be merciful, to make a difference. Father Cantalamessa, he's the preacher for the papal household, he said, someone has compared the earth to a spaceship in flight, and one of the 3 astronauts in the spaceship Earth is consuming and controlling 85% of the resources on the spaceship. The food, the air, the water, the room in the spaceship, the entertainment, whatever it has, 85% for one astronaut. And he is seeking and plotting to gain the rest, Father Cantalamessa said. And he's talking about the first world. Talking about the first world. First world, second world, third world. And the first world controls so much and is seeking even more. Indifferent to the rest. Indifference. Just look around our own neighborhoods. There's people doubling up in homes, 2 homes, 3 people, 2 families, 3 families living in a single home in some neighborhoods. You can tell by the cars parked on the street, and especially in other areas. Yet we have houses to spare, houses that we put cars in them. We call them garages, but they're a house. While people don't have a roof over their heads. And we dump food into the trash can every day. Every day. And babies go hungry. Children go hungry in our country. Not mention the rest of the world. There's indifference. Indifference. We have a responsibility to comfort the afflicted, yes. But Pope Francis calls us to battle this globalization indifference with the globalization of mercy. Be merciful as just your Father is merciful. And to afflict the comfortable, beginning with ourselves. To let God afflict us, to take away our comforts, so that we can truly comfort the afflicted. And be merciful as God is merciful. So this is your homework. Take home one of these sheets of paper from the entrance. You can get one there. Also, the spiritual works of mercy are listed in the bulletin. And this week, do one of them. Do a spiritual work of mercy. You can do more, but at least do one. To be merciful as God is merciful. And then write it down on a sheet of paper and put it in the basket. When we bring forward our bread and wine next week, your work of mercy will come forward as well, to join the others in making our world more merciful and giving witness to how God is merciful to us. To be merciful as God is merciful. But you can't give what you don't got. You can't give what you haven't received. So it's always good to take a moment and just reflect on God's mercy upon you. So just take a moment of quiet and enjoy remembering God's mercy upon you.